Welcome back, everybody, to SJ's Pistons and Pixels. Today we got a 2016 CRV, needs rear brakes, was grinding, so we're going to be doing pads and rotors on this today. So for your caliper bracket, two size 17s are going to release this. I've already loosened them. And then I believe it's a size 10 for the caliper itself. No, I'm sorry, it's a 12 millimeter for the caliper bolts themselves. Then you need a hammer, impact driver to get this rotor to loosen. I like to put these in because it came from factory like that. I know a lot of people say, oh, hey, it came from the factory, you don't need to put it back in. Let's just be safe and put it back in. So I'll go into my little tray. I already decompressed the piston as well. So this will be an easy job. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna get out of frame for a second here. I'll be right back. Need to go get my caliper hangers. Okay, now that we have all brackets loose, let's get this to, you could probably just put it right here somewhere because you just want that caliper to hang, but you don't want to put any pressure on it. A lot of people say you can just hang them there, but I don't like that. That's not the way I roll. Make sure your bolts are the same length. Now, what you're gonna do, I'm just gonna find a little spot here to put this. This is not a heavy caliper, but you really just don't want to mess anything up. Okay, just put that there for now. I also don't like to twist these because then you run into more troubles. Let me just switch this around. Silly me. Always hook it from the top. There you go. Now it's hanging. It's out of the way. Now, customer came here saying they're hearing grinding noises. You think you might want to tell me why you might be getting some grinding noises from there? Not sure if you can see it. That's all metal contact. So, at these, yeah. Front one, just gone. Nothing to it. since we loosened this already. Tell you, I said it before, but I'll say it again. I really do like gear wrench. Again, these are the 90 tooth. They do make newer ones. I think they're like 120. I mentioned that in my other video, but these are the 90 tooth. The reason they don't really have a lot of I can't think of the word, so I'm just not even going to talk about it. If the word comes up, I'll come back to it. Just trying to get this bracket off. Now we're going to get on to a touchy subject, okay? These are good. Looks like they put some blue Loctite on there, so we'll make sure we put some more on when we go and torque this down. Now, again, I'm from the Northeast. A lot of people, when it comes to caliper brackets, some people say, oh, grease under your tabs here. Grease under your tabs. Let me ask you a question. When have you seen from a dealer, unless it said in their manual somewhere, or in their service procedure, I should say, have you seen them put grease under this? Personally, I don't. What I do is once I get these brackets off, I clean them. Wire wheel them down. I try and clean up this whole bracket the best I could, just try and get all this dust, nasty crap, and crud off of everything. But it's a heated topic, and people constantly say, oh, you should lube you should grease under there. That's all well and good. I get it. Maybe, you're in the rust belt, which is then going to squeeze your brake pads too tightly, and then they're not going to freely move in between your caliper and your piston and your caliper. So again, I just like to clean them thoroughly. You can mock me if you want. You can call me a hack. I really don't care, because unless I see it in a service manual, I'm not going to put grease there. I will do all other contact points. I always spray the back of the rotors. I'm sorry, not the back of the rotors. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. The back of the brake pads with a disc brake quiet. And we also, this is even though this is moving, this is very important. You need to clean these off, get everything off of them. And then you're going to want to I like to use a Sil Glide. It is it's better than using a lot of the stuff that a lot of people have used. But these just pop out. Like I said, what I do, I take them out, I wipe them down, I go over to my bench grinder, and then I have a wire wheel on that. It's actually a ball bearing grinder, but I have a wire wheel on that, and what I do is I try and get all the nasty stuff off it, and then I put on brand new silicone-based lubricant on the slide pins. So that's going to be the next step. So that's that. And this is another thing you're probably going to want to look out for, is because you're going to want to clean here, but because the rotor, she ain't going nowhere, so we're going to have to free that up. So I need 2 hands for this. Rotor's off. Just a couple hits with the hammer, because you have your parking brake here. So you just got to kind of hit in there, clean it up. This is all going to get cleaned with a wire wheel as well. Let's see if you can notice all around here. It's all just, it's gone. It's all metal to metal contact. And we are going to be replacing the rotors on this as well. So when you're doing this, I have a different wire wheel after this, but I just want to get the majority of it first. Be careful, it's not going to do a lot of damage, just be careful of the studs. Knew I should have grabbed my other one, but that's me being lazy. Don't be like me and not have your tools handy, or at least in arm's length. Then all you're going to be doing is going back and forth for no reason. No reason whatsoever. So, let's get these tighter areas. Let's see, I got a different wire wheel to get in those tight little crevices. Another thing, now that I almost forgot to mention this, make sure you check your parking brake pads, see how they are. These look pretty decent. Doesn't look like there was too much to them. Hardware looks pretty new too, so possibly may have been done before, but not for me. And you don't have to do this. You really don't, but I'm just going the extra mile here because I don't like dirt. All this dust out of here. We can let that dry. We can move on from here to now let's get to the bracket. This one will actually do. Take them off. I like to just clean them. the dog. I'm sure I'm going to go, why didn't you sell these guys calipers, brackets, and calipers? Well, not everybody's made of money. Sometimes you got to do what you can to keep your customer happy and still try and put an honest buck in your pocket. Like, this is still going to go over to the wire wheel afterwards. I'm just trying to give you kind of like a rundown of what I do here. So I gotta go over to the other wire wheel, so I will return. I've got the caliper cleaned, caliper bracket cleaned. These are clean, but I gotta do one more thing. Just wipe these off, but these were already wired wheel down. They're nice and clean, just so you see. But what you're gonna want to do is, because there's still old grease in here, you want to get some brake cleaner, maybe even just like a regular tip screwdriver, Phillips head. Spray a little brake cleaner in there. Do it over rags so you're not making a mess. Just want to kind of get in there, throw a little bit in there, clean it out the best you can. Gotta get more in there. Well, that's what we're here for. Kind of wiggle that around. Sure, I have to get in there a little bit more, but it is a lot cleaner in there. It's kind of hard to see, but it is a lot cleaner in there than what it was. So you want to make sure that's the key to having good braking system, making sure you're getting all this old stuff out, all the dust away, because all that does is just accumulates. And then if you're going to go put new grease on, then all you're doing is putting that on top of dirt. And I don't think you would go take a shower in a mud pit, to be honest with you. So I would suggest doing a thorough clean of the bracket to make sure all the heavy grime is off. So you're going to repeat this with this one. Then what you're going to go do, go grab it. What I like to use is a product by AGS. It's called Silglide. Show you them both. Well, it really doesn't matter, but Silglide for your pins. This way, now that's just pretty dry. What you're really gonna do, you don't have to do it a lot. But let's first, before we do that, let's get this rubber piece back on. Don't spray the rubber piece with brake cleaner. Your best to try and get that stuff out with just a rag, because you hit it with brake cleaner, it's just going to start to deteriorate. We don't want any deterioration, especially since this is getting reused. So you just kind of get in there, the little crevices and whatnot, and just kind of clean them out. What's that? Ow. Like I said, I've seen people just take this and then put it in here and go, that's kind of, you're adding too much. In personal opinion, I think you're adding too much when you do that. I like to just take the rag, clean it again of all that stuff that was in the rubber boot. Lay a bead. Somewhere around, like, we'll start there. See how that works. Then you're just going to take it, go around your whole bolt. See, like that even might be a little bit too much. Make sure you get some at the top there. That's actually, yeah, it is too much. You don't want to be gopping this up and throwing a shit ton of grease in there. Pardon my language, I'm sorry. But you don't want to be throwing a bunch of grease in there. But you do want to make sure that it is a nice, a nice layer on there. So that this way you've got grease on there and it's not going to dry up. So you're going to take this. I like to, because that happens, so what I like to do is gradually twist them in, hold this, do that. Now you have that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to react, and that's what you do. You see how when you hit this one, doesn't do nothing really. But then when you do this one, now got a smooth travel. So now the pads have a better, will wear evenly. And you got to really just make sure, again, this is all cleaned up as well. Before you go put anything on. Now just because, see, I know I'm going against my code here, but I'm just going to take a very, very little bit. I know I'm contradicting myself, but watch, I'm not taking a lot. Not at all. There's barely anything on my finger. And then you're just going to do a little bit there, a little bit there, okay? Get it in to your slide points. Like I said, very thin. You don't even want to be able to see anything there. That is your whole goal. The infamous. Okay, this goes onto the caliper itself. This goes here. You know what? We'll get that out afterwards. Let's finish the bracket first. That's my problem. I have a tendency of jumping to one thing to another before I finish one job. I don't ever mess up because I always get back to it. That's how mess ups do happen. When you forget to tighten a bolt or something like that. These should both be the same. Now, since I've only done grease on one side, we're only going to put one clip for right now. Line it up. Too much. You're gonna have to see when these go on, but they should sit nice. So, That's another thing. Try and work that in. Don't try and mess with it too much. So again, do the old sill glide. As you can tell, I'm not the speediest. I'd rather take my time with this. I can go faster if I wanted to. I'm just trying to go through this video with y'all, so that's why it's taking me a little bit longer. I'd rather have explainable content and take longer than not have anything of use to you, because my first two videos were crap. I'll say it now. They were crap. So right now we're pretty much at the reinstallation. I've cleaned everything. I'm gonna probably, well, you know what, you want to clean around here too, so you know, again, wire wheel. The reason you want to clean around here is where your rotor sits. So you don't want that thing getting all tight on you. So clean that up. Smile, bud. You're on camera. Say hello. That's my dog, everybody. That's Rebel. Woof. Hi. We got a couple more things before we're going to be done with this tutorial. Just adjust this really quick. Okay. We are at the rotor. We're cleaning. But there is something that I want to bring to your attention about the rotor. It's your little rubber piece. Don't forget to take that out and put it in your new rotor. So I got my rotor in the plastic. Don't worry, I don't ever, this stuff's on the table. I don't keep this crap on the ground. That would be stupid. You just want to get all the residue off of here that's on here. Keep it off of the ground. Nice little shop rag will do. Both sides too. Don't just do one. They oil both sides, so it's not much. It's just there to make sure it's rust prevention. Take it out. Make sure you're clean. To the best of your ability, of course. that. Sure it's nice and clean. So we got a couple other things before we get to the caliper, that little bracket that's in there, and then we've got to just get the caliper completely depressed. Little rubber thing. This one goes right into here. If needed, flathead will do. Just get right at the middle of the grommet and you just kind of work it along until it pops in. There you go. The other thing you want to make sure of, you want to see where your screw hole is, which was this one, because you're going to have to line that up with the hole, which it's hard to see. That's where the screw went. That's where your lug stud's going to go through. That's where you're going to put your screw. You can do it there, but you can't do it there. So you got to make sure you do it the right way. Should just slide right on. No worries after you clean everything. Everything should just slide right on. Get your screw back in. Okay. What I like to do, because you really can't get a torque spec out of it, just kind of go to where it stops. Couple taps. Tightens right up. Now, let's get to this. Let's get this little guy off here. All right. I think I see what's going on here, which makes a little bit of sense. A little bit, not much. A little bit, not much. Where did I put the old pads? Now, you can use the front pad for this. It's just a protector. Kind of get this off of here for now. Okay, take a pad. Just kind of rest it in there. What did I do with my tool? See, now this, yeah. Fortunately, because it is a smaller caliper, you just got to be careful. You can just do it by the plates. And then if that don't work, we're going to go to plan C. Because that tool is not going in. So I don't like doing it this way, and I don't recommend doing it this way. Let me go. I'll be right back. What you're gonna do with the pad in place, if you got a big enough wrench, this might be overkill, but if you got an adjustable wrench like this, because you don't have enough, it doesn't allow this to get in, so you can carefully emphasize on carefully here, because you have your bleeder right back here. So you want to carefully get this here. Even if it's just to get it a little bit. Now, I think I grabbed too big of a set of pliers, but now that I've gotten it back further, I can now go ahead push that all the way back to its point. Now I can use this. You just get it in there. What you just want to do is just make sure it's all the way back. So you're not wrenching this for the most part. You're just trying to make sure it's all the way back. And you can pull it out. Now, since that's all the way back, we can now take this out with no issues. So, at that point, we're going to wrap this video up, because once you do one side, it's basically the same process on the other. Just remember, you need a Phillips head screwdriver, a hammer, a 17 millimeter, some blue Loctite for those 17 millimeter bolts, 12 millimeter for the caliper bolts, and if necessary, if you have to pull this plug, this is where you will have to line it up if you have to adjust your parking brake to get the rotor off. A couple whacks will get everything. Make sure you clean everything around it. Other than that, the other side is basically the same thing. So basically, we are going into reverse mode and just putting everything back onto the vehicle. So right now, what I just like to do, obviously, because I, was hovering around it, just kind of clean it a little bit. Make sure it's ready for the caliper bracket. Other than that, that's how I do a brake job. You're more than welcome to criticize.